Good morning, everybody, and welcome you all. We are reading Nationalism in India, and in this chapter, in last video, we have discussed about what were the programs of non-cooperation movement and how non-cooperation movement is spread in town and cities. In this video, we will discuss about differing strands within the movement. Under this heading, we are going to read about three case study. One is of revolution by the Pishans of Awadh, revolution by the tribals of Guddam Hills in Andhra Pradesh, and finally revolution by the plantation workers of Assam. Our topic is differing strands within the movement. Means what? So after reading all these three case study, we will be able to know that we could not connect this revolution directly with the non-cooperation movement. So it was differing strand, and within the movement means what? Ki we could not straightforward reject that this movement did not have to do anything with the non-cooperation movement. That's why it is differing strands within the movement. Let's see what happened in Awadh. So revolution in Awadh by the Pishans was led by Baba Ramchandra Dev. His original name was Sridhar Balwant Jodhpurkar. So he belongs to a Brahmin family. It was not supposed from Brahmin family to work as a laborer. So that's why he changed his name as Baba Ramchand Dev. And with this name, he went to Fiji as an indentured laborer. Indentured laborer, that means bonded labor, a kind of bonded labor that was practiced in Fiji. So he went to Fiji as an indentured laborer. He spent 13 years there, but in Fiji also he worked for emancipation of indentured laborer. Whatever miserable condition of indentured laborer was there in Fiji, so he tried to work for their cows. He also smuggled a letter to India that was published in Amrit Bazar Patrika. Actually, it was anonymous letter. That means it was not known that who had written this letter. But the Fijian government was trying to find out who had written this article. So that's why his friend advised him that if the government will reach to him, he will not be forgiven, and that's why he should left from there. So that's why he managed to let Fiji in 1916 and rest to India. Here also in India also he was influenced by miserable condition of the Pishans, and when he returned to India in disguise as a saint, he disguised himself as a saint, मतलब यहाँ साधु बनकर रह रहे थे, and with the name of Baba Ramchand. So in Awadh, the Pishans were in a very poor condition. Condition of Pishans was miserable, and that's why for the cows of Pishans, for their welfare, together with when he launched movement with the Pishans, so he came in contact with the Congress leader, and together with Jawaharlal Nehru and some other congressmen, he formed Awadh Kisan Sabha. So Awadh Kisan Sabha was established by Jawaharlal Nehru and some other congressmen, including Baba Ramchand. So actually, Pishan revolution in Awadh was led by Baba Ramchand. So these Pishans fought against Talukdar and landlords. These Pishans fought against Talukdar and landlords. Means what? They were struggling, they were revolting, but what were their objective? Their objective was not to get rid of British rule. Their objective was not to get Swaraj. Their notion of Swaraj also was different. Swaraj means for them what? Swaraj means if Swaraj will come for patients of Awadh, then land will be distributed to them. Landless worker will get land. If Swaraj will come, they will not be forced to do begar. If Swaraj will come, they will not have to pay exorbitant rate of land revenue. So let's see what we are reading. Differing strength within the movement. So what is differing strength? So let's see difference in objective. They were not fighting against the British. They were fighting against their immediate tormentors. They were fighting against talukdar. They were fighting against landlord. That means immediate tormentors. Their objective was different. Their objective was not to get rid of British rule. Their methodology also was different. They often utilize violent method. That means killing even talukdars and landlords. So in methodology also it was different from non-cooperation movement. In objective also it was different from non-cooperation movement. And although Jawaharlal Nehru tried to brout this peasant revolution under non-cooperation movement, but actually differentiation was there in methodology, objectives, ideology, and that's why directly it was not included under non-cooperation movement. So that's why it is being said differing strength but within the movement. Demand. What was the demand of the peasants of Awadh? So the peasants movement demanded reduction of revenue. They demanded for abolition of begar. They were forced to do begar. So that's why they demanded the abolition of begari. Social boycott of oppressive landlords. They wanted social boycott of oppressive landlords, and for that they launch a campaign Nai Dhobi Bandh. That means they will not provide services of barber and washerman to the oppressive landlord. Also they wanted transfers of ownership of land to them under new revenue system that was introduced by the British. So actually the ownership of the land was transferred to Jamindar or landlords. So they wanted transfer of ownership over land. Also the landless farmer wanted land should be given to them. Distribution of land to the landless farmer. So these were demands of the peasants of Awadh, and for that they launched revolution against their immediate tormentors. Now second case study was of revolution by the tribals in Goddam Hills. So revolution by the peasants in Awadh was led by Baba Ramchand. The same way here tribal revolt in Goddam Hill was led by a very interesting person, Sitaram Alluri Raju. So Raju was an interesting person. He claimed that he could survive bullet shot, he could heal a person, he could do correct astrological prediction, and he claimed that he was incarnation of God. And for a time being he became a folk hero among the tribals. So let's see, in 1882 Madras Forest Act was passed. According to this Forest Act, the tribal were evacuated from their original homeland from forest area. They also were forced to do begari. So forcefully they were compelled to do begar for the Britishers. So that's why tribal revolted. Initially also tribal had revolted against the colonial policies, but for time being in Goddam Hills of Andhra Pradesh, Alluri Sitaram Raju led the movement of the tribals. So it was completely violent method of agitation. They also were involved in killing British officials or utilizing violent method. Eventually Sitaram Alluri Raju was captured and he was killed by the Britishers. So here also you could see methodology, ideology and objective also was different. The revolution by the tribals in Goodem Hills also was not to get rid of British rule. They just wanted their long lost customary rights to avail forest product. But although Sitaram Alluri Raju convinced the tribals that Gandhiji had said so, whatever to sanction all kind of action, they utilized the name of Gandhiji. They also changed the slogan of Swatantra Bharat. They changed the slogan against the British, or they changed the slogan of Mahatma Gandhi. So actually, straightforward, we could not connect all this movement from non-cooperation movement, but also we could not reject straightforward that this movement did not have to do anything with the non-cooperation movement, because the inspiration of all this movement, was non-cooperation movement, but due to the methodology, objective, ideology and notion of Swaraj was different. That's why it was termed as differing stand, but within the movement. Now, the colonial government had closed large forest area, preventing people from entering the forest to graze their cattle or to collect fuels and fruits. Government began forcing them to contribute begar for road building or hill people. That's why revolted. The person who came to lead them was an interesting figure. He was Sitaram Alluri Raju. Now, in Assam, an Inland Emigration Act was passed by the British, and according to this Inland Emigration Act, the plantation worker could not leave the area of plantation without permission, and such permission never was given. So, plantation worker in Assam were kept in a confined area, and they were not allowed to leave that area, because they know it very well that in such extreme or harsh condition the plantation workers were kept there. Once if they will go outside the plantation area, they will not come again, and we know that plantation is labor intensive, too much labor is needed in plantation, and objective of the British plantation owner was to maximize their profit, and that's why much work was being taken from them, and harsh condition was there of the plantation worker also. So plantation workers were not permitted to leave according to Inland Emigration Act. They were compelled to leave. They were compelled to live in confinement of the plantation area. They believed, but once they believed that Gandhi Raj was coming, and this plantation worker, defying the Inland Emigration Act, they marched towards their home. When they heard about Swaraj, when they heard about Gandhi Raj is coming, actually they defied this act, Inland Emigration Act, and headed towards their home. But unfortunately, the day they marched towards their home, there were a strike, a steamer as well as railway strike was there, and that's why they were unable to reach their home. They were caught by the British forces and were kept back. They were mercilessly beaten during the way. So this plantation worker also did not revolted, plantation worker of Assam also did not revolted to get self-rule, did not revolted against the British rule. So their notion of Swaraj was that if Swaraj will come, they will go in out their homeland. They could go to their homeland. They will not be compelled to live in this confined area. but they also were inspired by non-cooperation movement. Now they were heading towards home, but they were caught in the way and were mercilessly beaten. Now it was 5th of February. An incident occurred at Chauri Chaura in which allegedly 22 police personnel were burnt alive. The incident began on the 2nd of February. On 2nd of February, some group of people near Gorakhpur in Chauri Chaura, they were in support of non-cooperation movement. In support of non-cooperation movement, they were marching and they were picketing the liquor shop. So lathi charge was being done. Mercilessly they were beaten up. Okay, again in protest on 4th February, a large crowd gathered once again, and they were protesting. When the protest was not under control, so brutal repression begins from the police officials, and in retaliation they started stone pelting upon that police. So this incident and after that police firing occurred, in which allegedly, according to British report, 3 people died. So it was, according to British report, 3 people, but it was allegedly said that so many people died in that incident. So against that incident that occurred on 4th February, a large number of people gathered and started protesting against the event that occurred one day earlier. So once again, when they were marching towards the police station of Chauri Chaura, so they were provoked by the police personnel there, and in frenzy mood, they locked all those police officials. To survive, they went inside the lock, but that police station was set ablaze. So in this incident, allegedly it was said that 22 police personnel were set ablaze. When Gandhiji heard about this incident, he was deeply hurt with this violent incident, and he went to fast for 5 days, and ultimately on 12th February he decided to call off non-cooperation movement. Actually, for this incident, Mahatma Gandhi also were jailed for 6 years, but in 1924 he was released on the basis of ill health. So when non-cooperation movement was at its zenith, that means full enthusiasm there with the people in favor of the movement, abruptly it was called off by Mahatma Gandhi after the incident of Chauri Chaura. So one of the very important question here, why Mahatma Gandhi abruptly call off non-cooperation movement. So what you are going to write, first of all you will describe the incident of Chauri Chaura, the incident that occurred on 5th February. So after describing that incident, you will have to write, in February 1922 Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw non-cooperation movement. He felt the movement was turning violent in many places, and Satyagrahi needed to be properly trained before they would ready for mass struggle. So they need to be more tolerant, they need to be more patient until any broad-based large movement could not be launched. Thinking that, Mahatma Gandhi abruptly called off non-cooperation movement. तो चलो नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट तो एब्रप्टली ख़त्म हो गया. महात्मा गांधी, जवाहरलाल नेहरू, ये सारे लीडर अभी जेल में थे. 1924 में महात्मा गांधी को रिलीज़ किया गया जेल से. बट आफ्टर 2 factors again shaped Indian politics towards the late 1920s. One was the effect of the worldwide economic depression. Worldwide economic depression, it begins in 1920s, and after that तो फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर का इम्पैक्ट भी था कि आफ्टर द फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर द होल economy of the whole world was affected, and it was an outcome of the first world war that the whole world was suffering from economic depression. And second, the statutory commission under Sir John Simon. So when severe economic condition was there of the people, it instigate them to revolt. हम लोग पहले भी पढ़ चुके हैं कि economic condition, whenever you will find extreme or severe economic condition, तो it always remain influential in developing revolutionary attitude in the mind of people. As we read in French Revolution, there was situation of subsistence crisis. As we read in Russian Revolution, there were situation of subsistence crisis, and that was one of the causes. So here in India also, revolutionary attitude developed among the people due to its severe economic condition. After that, in 1928, a statutory commission was formed under Sir John Simon. It was sent to India to suggest constitutional change. So Simon Commission was formed by the Tory government. Tory government in Britain constitute a statutory commission under Sir John Simon. Tory government means देखो ब्रिटेन में two party system is there in Britain, conservative and liberals. तो जो liberal party हैं, political parties, they were considered as Whigs, and जो conservative parties हैं, they were considered as Tory. तो new Tory government was formed, मतलब conservative party formed their government in Britain, and they formed a statutory commission under the presidency of Sir John Simon. So in 1928, Simon Commission was sent to India to prepare a report that what constitutional measure could be taken to pacify the nationalist leader. But it was, Simon Commission was vehemently opposed by Congress as well as Muslim League, other political party, everybody vehemently rejected Simon Commission. Why? Demand of Congress and other leader was there कि some Indian also should be member in the Simon Commission. The demand was कि some Indian also should be member in the Simon Commission. But as there were no Indian member in the Simon Commission, so it was considered as humiliation for the Congress and other political parties also, and that's why they vehemently opposed Simon Commission. When Sir John Simon arrived in India, he was greeted with the slogan "Go back Simon." तो जब साइमन कमीशन यहाँ पहुंचे और जब यहाँ से गए, शायद ही कोई ऐसा वक्त रहा हो जब ये स्लोगन उनके दिमाग में, मतलब उनको सुनाई नहीं पड़ रहा हो, गो बैक साइमन, गो बैक साइमन. व्हेनेवर ही ट्रैवल टू फ्रॉम रेलवेज, तो जो रोड साथ में चल रहा हो, उस रोड में जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो काला बिल्ला, काला झंडा लगाकर वो ट्रेन एक साथ चल रहा है और उसके साथ वो गाड़ी पे दूसरे रोड पे चल के उसको गो बैक साइमन, गो बैक साइमन, गो बैक साइमन सा स्लोगन. जिस होटल में ठहरे हैं उस होटल को घेर कर चलो रात भर, गो बैक साइमन, गो बैक साइमन. That means vehemently Simon Commission was opposed. Back their home, Sir John Simon had written that even after reaching to London, the word "Go back Simon" remained in his mind, और हमेशा उनको वही वर्ड सुनाई देता था. By the way, Simon Commission was vehemently opposed by almost all political leaders. So during the protest of Simon Commission, Lala Lajpat Rai was leading a procession. Upon that revolutionary procession, the Superintendent of Police James A. Scott ordered police to lathi charge. Lala Lajpat Rai got a fatal blow upon his head and later on he died. मरे तो हार्ट अटैक से थे, बट पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के अनुसार कि दैट इंजुरी आल्सो वाज काउज ऑफ हिज डेथ. He was an eminent leader. The Hindustan Socialist Republican Association vowed to avenge Lala Lajpat Rai's death. इनके मौत का बदला लेने की कसम इन लोगों ने खाई थी. कौन? Eminent leader of HSRA, Shahid Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad and Rajguru. However, in a case of mistaken identity, the plotter sued John P. Saunders, an assistant superintendent of police, as he was leaving the district police headquarters in Lahore on 17 December 1928. Actually, they were hiding behind the house of James Scott, but unfortunately Saunders come in the morning in the house of James Scott. James Scott always at around 8:15 they proceed towards their office. So actually, when Saunders were coming outside, so they believe that he was Scott, and due to this mistaken identity, in place of Scott they killed Saunders. Later on they could manage to escape from there. So in detail there is a very interesting story related to how he escaped, how Bhagat Singh managed to escape from Lahore, how he reached to Amritsar, then to Calcutta, and ultimately Bhagat Singh was involved in throwing bomb in the assembly. Knowingly, he was knowing that if he will be caught, then he also was accused of that Saunders murder case. In spite of, he decided to throw bomb in the assembly. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.